Record. Boom. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, you're starting off on this Farah comp. I think that's the comp that I suggested you'd play. Did you before play Brawl here or also play
No,
Ball comp?
we used to play ball comp a lot, and then when playing against a brawl with the Sim and the Mei, I think our main tank usually said they had trouble, so we swapped over to the brawl for a little bit, but then we went back to this now.
Okay. So generally speaking, I prefer to play this comp against most compositions because the map really suits it. Against Brawl comp, Brawl wants to fight on the point, and they're gonna stay on the point. With the composition that you're playing now, you can take easy off angles and really farm that barrage nano. So you can use that as a team wipe, ultimate almost, and finish, and then go on the defending side where it's really open. Right?
The struggle we had against brawl comp is that once they are on point, it's very hard to not let it flip.
Yeah.
And then we have to wait for the.
But in that case, you can let it flip, because your
Yeah.
win conditions aren't your neutral win conditions in that case.
Yeah.
You really want to play around those ultimates, Barrage and Nano, mainly. So you can, and those are your main win conditions.
Yeah.
It's not that you want to win with spam, with nade. Those are advantages that you could have. So if you land a big nade, land a lot of spam and you kill someone or you force someone out, that's great. If you get a pick, that's a win. That's a win condition even, or an advantage that you have, and then you can win it neutral in the neutral. But your fight plan right now is not to win it in the neutral. It's more to
Yeah.
fight
Makes
it out
sense.
and win with those ultimates.
Makes sense.
Right? So it's about patience as well. So here as well, you're playing quite slow. Especially your ball, you could be already on this side, for example, and roll out from here, and then play around here as ball. Tracer, you can play around here is fine, but ideally, if you can get to here as well, that would be possible to follow up with your ball, right? You want to be annoying as annoying as possible. As well as Tracer here, you want to try in this matchup. You want to try for duel, try and look for duels. If you win a duel here, that's an immediate advantage they have, and that's a win. That's something that you can take as a win condition, because at that moment, your Tracer and ball can fully commit on diving, and don't have to worry about the duels that much.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so both DPS die here. In this case, you're gonna lose immediately.
Your diva played really well in my opinion.
Yeah, their diva was pretty good in forcing us out a lot.
If that diva really likes to commit on you, you can try to force that into and try to be ready for it. Play a little more back, and if the diva still goes for you, you can play, and then she will be in the middle of your team almost.
Yeah,
because
that's what.
Yeah, go for it.
That's a good tip. By the way, I'm taking notes. If you hear me typing, that's just me taking notes.
That's fine.
But no, the thing was actually that she was not really hard committing in most cases. Like this time, I overstepped, and I think like we didn't push out fast enough because otherwise I need to play either behind our roof or above the enemy roof. And I feel like if we take it faster, I can take enemy roof, and that's a much better position to pressure out the supports. But what she did really well was when their Zen and Brig were playing on the high ground a lot while we pushed or were fighting on point, and I was trying to pressure them out. She would stay with them almost the entire time, body block a lot, and especially when I had Barrage, she never used Matrix. Like, not a single one. I could just poke and poke and poke her, and they would just sustain themselves. I would get Discord and be forced low. But there's a point where an entire fight I cannot use Barrage because their diva is just staying with their supports and like just making clear if I use Barrage now, she has Matrix and I'm gonna die. So there's not much I could do.
Yeah. So you said playing your position that you want to play around are mainly your point here or like your roof there. Playing on this roof is when you're on the defending side, so you can play around these ones. But when you're attacking, you don't really want to play around these.
Okay.
Because if the diva flies up, she falls back into their supports, right? Same from this side, she's still safe. So this position is good if you control this space. This position is good if you control this space. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes. Because
Okay.
if the diva wants to commit to me, and diva is my biggest threat here, she has to leave their supports alone, so our ball and Tracer have an easier job or anything. Like, she just has to commit something. I understand.
As well, if you have trouble with looking for those barrage kills or immediate big value barrages on the supports, because that diva is always there, something you can do is just literally just kill the ball with barrage. Go into the ball's face and solo barrage him. That's fine. That's worth it. Because by that they don't really have an engagement tool, and that's also an advantage that you can get. Then after, if you really still struggle struggle with the 5v6, you could use nano, not really, but like something like pulse bomb or mines even to clean out the fight. But that's not ideal. Generally speaking, you only need one pick, and that advantage should be enough to win you the fight. So you don't always have to go for these fights, team wiping, or only using barrage on supports. Look for more isolated targets, maybe not as common, but just killing that one target, in this case maybe being the ball, should be enough for you to be more free, or your Tracer and ball to be more free. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if one option is too hard, try to look for another one instead of trying to keep playing around your first plan. Okay, so going main here is completely fine because they have high ground control. You somehow want to get them off the high ground or want them to expose their supports in this case, so your divers have an easier time. What can you do to keep that diva away, for example, is contesting point. If the diva contest points, then you have an easier time to spam their supports out. If their ball or Tracer or somewhere contests point, that's a duel that your divers can take. As your pharmacy here, you just focus on spamming and farming barrage again from behind these roofs, ideally. And if you really get an opportunity, you could concussion blast in. So watch from this angle. Okay, so right now their supports are dropped. They're completely open, but your ball dies. In this case, you want to take it slow. It's not lost yet. If your Tracer doesn't die now, it's really not lost yet. Actually, now you killed her Zen. You just have to play it slowly because you don't really have an engagement tool apart from Tracer just blinking in, which is not ideal because that's only getting the Tracer in. And Pharah spam, of course. Okay, so by playing it slowly, you should be able to finish off players. And when your ball is back, that's where you can hard commit on the cleanup. Okay, in this case, this is just cleanup. Okay. Let's look at your ultimates. You have Nano, you've Barrage, you've Bomb, and Valkyrie. What would be your ideal fight plan? Wait, so I'll just go up until the respawns are back and they're about to go in. Okay, right now. Also, you can look at their ultimates. I'm always expecting you to have like perfect ult tracking in what you use. So you know they have EMP now and they're coming up on trends and really soon. You know this. What's your plan here? Let's first of all talk positions.
I mean, I'd say we want to try to engage early with maybe Barrage or Nano Barrage to make sure we do it before their EMP.
Yeah, engaging early. That's a good one. First of all, position. Are you all position 12 right now? Your ball is behind the Mercy. What do you think?
I think we could be a bit more split up since you all have the mobility to still engage from different angles, especially ball. I think could take a different angle maybe.
Yeah.
So that if they EMP, they have pretty low value.
It's not too much the ball that I'm too worried about.
I think our D.Va and our Ana could be more together.
Yeah, they could play more together, but it's not too much that I'm worrying about.
Tracer, maybe?
Yeah, your Tracer right now is playing with your team as well. Not set up to do anything. She's standing there to like blink to somewhere, but you know these fights are not gonna take like from much in the open. The Tracer right here on the defending side is his most important job is here for that duel on the enemy Tracer. So right now, if your ball is watching the right side, I would like your Tracer to be around here, for example, or more scouting here.
Yeah.
So you have a better idea on. Now you have a better view on all angles, and we'll have a better idea on where every enemy is. Does that make sense?
Sense.
Yeah. So you wanted to engage with Barrage or Nano Barrage?
Yeah, for example.
I feel like what we have been doing a lot is Nano Pharah, and I don't Barrage, but I try to force out Matrix with the Nano Rockets, because if the D.Va does Matrix and I get some good shots on the supports, we get either a pick or the D.Va has to commit a lot of Matrix, so the Barrage afterwards gets picks.
Yeah, that's what I mean with Nano Barrage. Like you first Nano and then force out the Matrix and then you Barrage.
Yeah. In this case, you want to use Barrage and Nano separately, because you don't really have them playing together. So you're not gonna need the immediate too much burst damage that you would against a brawl comp, for example, or a double shield comp, where the Pharah needs immediately that damage reduction and the immediate damage to burn down a shield, a Rhine, or just team wipe them when they're all playing together. In this case, because they play so apart, you want to use Barrage to pick one or two off, and then next fight, ideally, you can use Nano on the Pharah to do the same thing. Pick one or two off. Those picks are in this composition the same amount of value, or almost the same amount of value that you would team wiping, because this ball composition can drag out fights so much.
That makes sense.
So right now their Tracer is touching point to force you out on a position, make positional mistakes. The ball rolls in, they get a big EMP. Okay, your Pharah didn't get EMP, you Falk to sustain, and you gonna win the fight of those two picks with only using Falk, so that's a really big win for you. They committed EMP, and that's it. That's definitely a win in your book. Okay. Here as well, your fight plan can stay the same. Play different angles. Look for the enemy. Look for positioning. You still know the tracer is in your backline normally, because you know you didn't kill her. So now your tracer should be looking for these duels. So ideally, what you can do is positioning. Is position here. Here is not really necessary because your Ana is already there. Most of your heroes are there. Your ball can look this way, for example, while Diva can maybe stay here, while the Ana plays here mostly, or even here. That is also fine because you know they don't have EMP immediately, so you don't have to stay with your Ana like 1 meter apart. You can keep some distance because you're able to use Matrix probably. You don't have to be afraid for them to use EMP, so you don't have abilities. Right now you're looking for a barrage on their support, spilling on top of the roof, which is fine.
This is the fight, by the way, where the Diva just sticks with the supports the entire time, and I think doesn't use Matrix once, or only really short.
So in this case, they use Pulse, they trans, and you commit with Nano. Here as well, it's not worth it to keep spamming at that brick and the Zen. Try to look for that moment you can help to sustain or like help with duels here. You're not really taking duels because the point flipped, your Tracer is still on point. But you could help committing on the Sombra, help committing on the Tracer, forcing recall, forcing translocator, those kind of things. But don't waste your time on a send that is transing. They rally as well. Sustain. You use mines. They use mines on point, so they control point now. Okay, this fight is lost. You just wanna get out now because they flip point. In this case, you wanna be more ready. When you're on the defending side, you wanna be able to not let them flip point too much. Against ball composition like this, it's good scouting early and looking for early duels. Against a brawl composition, you would fight more in these areas, like here. You want to have a fight plan to play here, here or here. Okay.
Makes sense. Oh, I remember they had a really nice bomb here, right?
It was so close, I swear to God.
That's unlucky.
That was just yeah.
Yeah, and that was your main win condition as well.
Yep.
It's just a really big play from them. And they're gonna commit on it because you don't have spam.
Yep.
Oh, it's just a really big bomb.
Yeah. That was unlucky.
Okay.
That was unlucky.
Any questions so far? Or other things? No?
There's a lot of information already.
Yeah, I got the habit, sorry.
No, that's good,
That's
I
good.
appreciate it.
It's really good, yeah.
Yeah. Well, our question was because I think we called, or we asked, like, should we swap the Pharah and go more of a mirror-like comp? With the Sombra as well. What do you think?
I think mirroring is easier, maybe. It's more straightforward, but I don't think it's better per se. Because the biggest problem you will face when playing the same thing is your Ana being in the open and the Ana being an easy dive target for their Sombra Tracer. But you need to make quite a lot of changes if you want to swap comp. and that will put you at an immediate disadvantage for the next fight. So if you want to change, even to, because it's still a ball comp, but you make so much changes in supports and and DPS, you're in an immediate ult disadvantage in the ult economy. So is it worth it? Not sure. If it really works for you and you're way stronger on that Sombra Tracer comp, yeah, maybe it's worth it. But if you're competent on countering or counterplaying that Sombra Tracer comp on your Pharah composition, then I think it's worth it to just stay. The big thing is that you will need to look for duels more and look for them ganging up on you when you're dueling. So safe duels as well, in a position where your backline can still help.
Makes sense.
Or your Pharah spam that can help you out.
So a little less on the diving their backline, more on the duels then?
On the defending side more. On the attacking side, you want to focus on spam and having those win conditions, nano, Pharah ult.
Yeah, makes sense. Alright.
Okay, no. Okay, on this composition you're gonna roll out on the Tracer Sombra, which is fine. They're gonna do the same thing. I don't mind playing the Pharah comp here, but this is also fine.
Yeah, I think this is why we called to just go mirror, because we thought they were gonna run this anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a good choice.
Question already now. Do you recommend going up high ground? Because we keep going up high ground while the enemy goes up from low ground, either elephant or main, and usually the enemy just wins it because if their backline being a bit further back or whatever, I don't really know. But is high ground better or better to go main?
It depends on where you wanna play. Playing high ground here offers you, first of all, high ground, which is harder to get to, which is safer in this case. The enemy's team is gonna play backline and play around that mega on the behind the elephant a lot. It's an easy spot to go back to when playing ball with Tracer Sombra. But it depends on where their backline. Okay, their backline is also gonna play around elephant.
Yeah.
Is it better? I think so, yeah, because of that mega.
So elephant is better if you have the mega.
If you control mega, so you, it's because you can also do more as backline from that position. You're quite stuck on the high ground. It's way safer, but you're stuck on the high ground here.
Yeah, because that's what I feel like, and then like after a bit you get pushed out, or you have to drop in a really unfortunate position. Or well, we dropped.
Yeah, if you drop, you immediately want to go back to that mega and tell your Sombra, if you're gonna play this high ground position, then hack the mega underneath.
Yeah, makes sense.
As well.
Yeah.
So you control that mega, and it's a position where you come back to. If you find yourself in that room, you want to play really safe and try to force their ball or bait their ball more into the room. Okay. You can play more defensive with Sombra as well there and go for a hack on the ball that it doesn't expect it, and that's a win. That's an advantage they can abuse.
Makes sense.
But I think going elephant is better, just because your supports are able to do more.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the mega there. The thing is also that the sports are more open. That's not ideal, but I think if you play a Pharah composition, you should be quite easy to counter this comp or counter that position, because it's so in the open, and they're gonna be forced to play either more back or immediately on that mega. That's why I maybe think playing Pharah here is better. And then your Anna can also play on the high ground.
Yeah.
But it's my personal preference. It's not bad to play this, not at all. Like, it's a fine composition, it's a fine idea to play this. But I think Mega Control in this mirror is better.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
But for example, if I think the high ground position, generally speaking, if you don't know what they're running, is safer. So probably better. Because if they run a brawl composition,
yeah,
then you're screwed.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, I think we went to mirror because we expected them to run this, so then we would want to get the Mega then.
Now you're stuck on the defensive side. They're just playing really together. So are you. In this case, you want to make a play, right? Right now, you're just diving in from main, but you don't really have backup. Your Tracer died early. Tracer's back now. But you're not able to get to their support really easily. So you gotta find a way to take off angles more and also use that send spam. Because right now, your ball is just diving in main, getting low, and then forced out, which is eventually will become an advantage that they will abuse, and when you kill the ball like halfway when he's coming back. You trans to sustain. Maybe not ideal because I don't think this fight is winnable if you don't have a ball. There's no way of you engaging as well. They use rally. They use pulse bomb, you eat pulse, that's fine. They still use rally and hard engage with rally ball. They impede on your divers, so this fight should be won from them. They committed a lot of ults, but they also got a lot of percentage here. So I think in this case you wanted to rather back up, regroup, and go for a cleaner fight instead of.
The ball died, or.
Yeah, because you're. First of all, because you're in a bad position. You can fight from them still, but the moment your ball died, the fight was lost. Yeah. But because ball comps are so sustainable, or like they come back really easily, that kind of backfired from you wasting a lot of time.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
We have continued fighting if we had point control, because I think then it's always worth.
Yeah, if you have point control, for sure keep fighting, because ball comps also take time to set up. Like, it's not as fast as running brawl and going to point, anchoring in point, and then controlling that space, right? You taking off angles, and it will take more patience. So abusing that fact, and if you have first point, you can keep fighting, because that timer will tick away eventually, and then you can maybe get one fight in your favor to 99, for example, in an extreme case. And in that case, it's completely worth it. But like, if you're on the other side, then you're just wasting time hard.
I have a question here. Yeah. Because my problem here was, first when I was walking across main, I got hit by, like in Invis, I got hit by a random Zen orb. And so I had to wait 6 seconds to get invisibility back. We wanted to fight with EMP. And then when I was pushing forward again, I got again from, I don't know from what, but something uncloaked. So I had to, and forced me half HP, so I had to go out again. So my question is, should I be using more translocator engages for EMP? Because on the one hand side, it removes the chance of me being uncloaked and forced out early, so I'm going to be more likely to use EMP. But on the other side, I feel like in 75% of the cases, I'm going to die afterwards, because I use my only escape to go in, and I'm usually, if I hit a good EMP, in the ideal case, let's say, I'm in the middle of the enemy team. And as well, I think if they have trans,
it's really predictable.
Because it's 0.65 seconds, I think, till use EMP. If you count in the animation from translocating and from the thrown translocator. Like even if the enemy only reacts after I TP the Zen, he still has enough time to get trends off. So I really don't like it, but I feel like we lost a lot of fights in recent weeks, or not a lot of, but a decent amount of fights because I got like spotted out, or because I was in position maybe too early, and then we took too long to set up, or like I said, I might have been in too early, so I got forced out and we couldn't use EMP that fight, or they got a pick. So I don't know. I've been thinking about it more, and I think I'd do it here as well.
I think you want to try to set up earlier. Like right now, you're going in with your team. Okay, you get forced out, but in that case, you can keep walking, but use natural cover. Try to get as far as you can, and then invis again. If you find yourself in a situation where your fight plan is DMP, like your only fight plan is DMP, and you have to use it now, then translocating is fine. But if you can avoid it by playing maybe a little more patient and better pathing from before, then I think you can avoid it. So you wanna set up earlier in front of a fight and just tell your team to wait until you're set up. So they don't peek at all, because right now they're peeking. That's why the Zen is also shooting, and then you get hit by random Diva spam, Zen orbs, whatever.
Fair.
So tell your team to wait. As well, you can just play with your team if it happens. If it happens and you're still there, you just walk with your Zen for now and spam them, and then you can use EMP with translocator EMP, but then immediately try to back off just with normal movement towards your backline so they can help you out. Also tell your Diva so you get DM. Right?
Yeah.
So
We
as a
really need
last case scenario, you can use it with translocator, but I'm personally not a fan of it.
same. The thing is,
Okay.
we've been talking about it a lot because we tend to. I always say there's like a window because usually the enemy knows I have EMP, so they spy check, and we tend to miss the window where I'm in position and I'm not spotted yet, and we can engage. So I have to go early in position. Like I said, that's what I try most of the times, and then I feel like a lot of time we just miss that window. Like I'm in position, I could get a big EMP down, but we're not ready to follow up. And then the other times they are ready to follow up, but I'm not in position. So and I think we need to work on that. The thing is, I don't really know how to specifically work on something like that. How can we make sure? Should I make a countdown or something saying I'm in position in 10 or something? Or
Yeah, you can minimize the time needed. So having set plans, for example, set routes, locations where you can fight, can help, because then your ball tracer know you want to fight there, so they can be more ready for it. As well, play around. So first of all, the pathing. So you're less cloaked out, like forced out. What you also can do is to play more when you have EMP. Play more safer. So instead of they team wipe, they leave you alive, so you can just stay in the backline. That could be placing your translocator in their backline already. When a fight starts to go badly, you just keep fighting to the last end. But instead of dying, you translocate back into their backline. It's a riskier move because you can get forced out, but I think it's worth it to not go back to spawn fully, because you're in this, so you can play more in front, so you'll be more ready, or more easier and more faster to set up. Does that make sense? And does that answer your question?
so basically, if I have to translocate out, it's gonna take me a long time to set up anyway. So if I make a passive translocator, so if I have like an aggressive one, it's not gonna make a big difference if I die there or not. But if I get out and I can again faster. Was that
Yeah,
like
if you look at it like this, if you have to respawn You have to come back from spawn and walk all the way back. If you get out earlier when you notice a fight is going the wrong way, you're gonna lose that fight for sure. And you translocate early out, so you're kind of stuck in their backline. Then you're much faster to set up because you just grab health packs, heal yourself up, and then go already to set up. So you're quicker to set up, while at the same time your team is respawning and going back to the fight, right? Instead of you respawning as well, you as well going back to the fight or back to the point, and then you having to set up.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is that
Okay.
applicable to all map types, or for example, I would say it's harder to pull that off on, let's say, second point to CP because the enemy,
Yeah.
like, there's not much behind the enemy backline.
No, I think 2CP, it can be done, but then you just kind of stay more in front. Like, you play in your backline. So instead of you
Right.
going for coming back from spawn, you come back from where the fight would begin, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
it depends on the map type a little, but you kind of can do the same principle.
Mm-hmm. They're a good force out again, and I don't know how they.
Also, your translocator is pretty far back. Next time, place a translocator where your supports are gonna go, because the translocator is safe because the supports are there to help you out. As well, you translocate back, get healed up immediately, and can start spamming again to get EMP if you don't have it yet.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. EMP bomb and mines and rally to sustain, which is quite a lot. You had to win the fight, so I'm not sure if the mines were needed or the bomb. One of the two.
I think we could have maybe spared even both. I think the mine was a reactionary thing because he just was in a perfect position during the EMP.
I think the mines you planned on bombing, like EMP bombing, and the mines came out extra. So then the mines are a mistake. If you have a team like a plan to use bomb and the bomb is kind of unnecessary, then it's not too much of a mistake in my opinion, because that was your plan.
Yeah.
You calculated that in. Okay. Okay, that's a good duo on that Sombra there. With the two of you going for that Sombra and killing that Sombra, that's great. That's what you want to do more often when in this comp, isolating a target, being a duo and then just helping out. Right now your ball is screwed, or at least not in good position. Your diva flew back to kind of force their ball out, which is fine, but keep in mind, the moment your diva flies out, that their DPS will try to go in a lot of the times. So keep an eye on your supports when you're doing that as well. Good kill. They're still committing, they're using trance. This is still a winnable fight. Pulse was a little early. Another ball, balls get killed. Still winnable, not winnable but stallable. Okay, now it's just stalling using mines. And now the fight's over.
Yeah.
Okay, so far questions. I didn't go too deep into positioning of your support, but I think it's what I did in the beginning.
Yeah, that
So
was.
I think it's quite clear, everything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I can't really talk for the supports, but for me,
No,
I got
yeah,
a
no,
lot of
that
helpful
it makes
tips.
sense. It makes sense. It does. Yes.
Mouse has worked on this side then. So let's see what you play on this. Okay, so they're still playing that Summer Tracer comp, and you decided to play more spam and more anchoring a position with Sigma and Ash here. So ideally you want to play around this high ground here, because that's a really open spot, really easy to anchor. As well with a second, like a fallback position almost. So your main position is here. The second one you can play around is here, because you still have quite good angles, but you're more able to play around this mini and the mega here. Okay, so Ball Tracers are on this side contesting their Ball Tracing, which is fine. They have mega control, so keep in mind that they won't win that fight. They're mainly there to contest and stop them from pushing onto you completely, so you're able to get that high ground position. So right now they're trying to commit on it, and you can try to force them out. This is fine. You're not taking high ground position immediately, but you notice that a ball and Tracer went too far in, and while you're all playing together, you can just give up that little space that you want to take here, and instead basically anchor this position and control this area. So when the ball Tracer crosses that, you punish them for it, and now you can slowly move your way back up to the position you want to play. For now, you can leave that Sombra be, so your Sigma is in front. You're casting point control. Okay. Good kill. Okay. So right now you're not playing the Sombra, so the Sombra will try to control the megas around you. Being the mega here and like inside this room, like here. You use both megas because you play Bolt Racer will mostly be contesting point and contesting that mega on your right side. Okay. So right now you're positioning not ideal because you want to keep anchoring that position that your Sigma's holding. Because the Sigma alone cannot hold that position.
I think because your Zen was coming back from spawn, we went back to get him through because the Tracer was there.
Yeah, but with too many people there.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. If that happens, you rather want to send your divers there, maybe, to take a duel there. Because if the Zen's also there, that duel is in your advantage, because you have this good orb and Harmony orb as well. Yeah, then it's fine if you even stay in spawn and fight there, as long as you win that duel or force them out, and go back quickly.
Yeah, makes
if
sense.
You don't kill them. Because right now what happens, Sigma is alone, there's no Ashe there as well, so he has to give that space up immediately, because their support, so their backline will move up, and they're in an advantage that they shouldn't have.
Yeah, makes sense.
So right now, the whole fight is going in their favor, because their plan right now is set up their supports on this angle and fight in this area because they have different sidelines on you from every angle, and you're kind of stuck there. You can either force back immediately, but then you're playing in an even worse position. And then they have full point control and you have to push back into them. Right? So positioning is really important when playing the Sigma composition because you really want to anchor a point. It's not as mobile as it looks, just because your main strength is not anymore in your ball and tracer. It's more into your backline anchoring a position. You ball that early. And they have point control again. So right now, the whole time, I don't really think you find any value out of your Ash too much. And your Sigma. And it's not that they're getting dived on. It's just because you're not really doing what they're designed to do in this composition. Okay, throw Bob on point, which is a good idea. And you engage with mines and kill their send early, which is great. But then you decided also to flux, and this is overkill. Because you got 2 picks and point flip. Or 1 pick and point flip, I can't remember. Then they get a really big bomb in the EMP. It's unlucky. Could have used, I think you could have used your Sigma ult a little more passive if you rather not send them to point and played more around the high ground here, where their brick is standing. You want to take this high ground, but you never do, really. Or not quickly. You're just sitting up there when you want to fight. But remember, it's really something that you want to fight over. It's not a starting position. Or it is a starting position, but it's not just a starting position.
Yeah.
Use pulse. That's a clean dive on their backline. I can just force out. Okay. Right now you kind of stopped to anchor a point because you swapped, or anchor a position because you swapped to a diva, which is fine. You can play this. Your Ash can just play more mobile and more on off angles, but you have to play in line of sight of your supports here. Okay. You're not really setting up too much, like before fights happen. If you look back, so you won the fight. No, they're able to put a lot of pressure on your backline for no reason, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, you're kind of forcing the ball out, but you're just wasting time. Because you now, you stop putting pressure, or you stop with your main win condition anchoring that position. You can't afford to just send your taser to hold the position where the ball is going. Now you need to be more actively looking for dives, and with those dynamite follow-ups. Right, because what happens, you go for, your ball goes for a dive, your Ash is there to follow up with the dynamite, but your taser decided to go back and peel. Right? So, a ball alone with dynamite is never gonna kill Brixen. So they tranced and they just sustained. And that whole time they dived you as well. And you got they only got one pick, but because you didn't get any, it's still lost.
Yeah. I
right?
feel
So,
like we kept
yeah.
getting forced back into that, like, well, just forced back, so that we never really had like an aggressive hold as supports as backline either.
Because you started off really passively as well. You started holding here rather than playing here.
Yeah, so we just want to push up much further and be more aggressive, and then we fall back to that second position where we kind of started. Then that's basically how we should do it next time.
You could even play back here if you're sure you're gonna win it here to that mega.
Sure.
But ideally, you still move back here, but don't make it so easy for them.
Yeah, because we kept staying where their Brigzen is now, basically, I feel like. So we just push up more aggressively as support or as backline as well. Yeah, makes sense.
But that's also partly on your dive part of your team, because they also don't put pressure on their backline. So that means they can fully commit with spam from Zen, with all the packs, basically, and that is even more pressure onto you as backline.
Yeah.
Right, and because your Tracer Ball are not playing into their strengths, being dive characters, it's not gonna matter a lot that they're there. It will matter because it's extra damage as well, but they're not playing to their strengths.
Yeah.
Okay, they rally aggressively, and you didn't get a chance to touch.
Yeah,
okay. Everything clear, or do you have questions?
No, for me it's clear.
Okay.
Me too.
You want to do another map, or do you want to take a 5-minute break, or you want to stop here?
I'm up for another map, but I'm gonna get a glass of water, but it shouldn't take too long.
Okay.
I am ready to go.
Okay, I'll get a glass of water. I'll be there as soon as you. Did you get a code? No. Oh, you made a noise like you were like, oh, exciting. No, as soon as you have your new code in, I'll be there.
Okay. The codes. Replay codes.
Okay, I'm back.
Alrighty.
Welcome back.
Oh my god, that was where I had the horrible ping.
Oh, rip. We'll see it. Maybe. Potentially.
Like my ping got gradually worse from map to map.
Okay, so right now you're playing your ball tracer with Sombra composition, which is fine. Okay, you opt to go play inside. This is a good position for your backline. You don't have to go all the way up, you can just play around the stairs. You have the better position at the moment, and big pick on this end. Right now you don't have to fully commit and just play around hacks. This is so far pretty clean. Not much to say. Okay. Right now, where do you really want to fight?
I'd say in LOS of our Zen.
Do you have to?
Well, depends if they can like take duels outside of LOS, but if we go
Yeah.
with title, then
What's here? You're doing it right now. Their ball being alone is like a really big disadvantage they have. Because you also play the Sombra, right? Like hard punish ball with Sombra and you just focus him down like that. The whole time you're keeping that ball hacked or busy. He's not engaging, which means the echo will only have like stickies to that will matter, and Sombra will be able to. You will be able to shut down Sombras pretty easily because you don't have to worry about their ball, right? So their ball is their biggest engagement tool. So if you shut that down, the engagement will never or almost never come. Right? This is fine. You can keep looking for duels, but don't farm EMP to them too much.
yeah.
So this is all fine. Okay. Okay. So when I said you can take outside or like outside Senelovis, you can take duels like you said, but if they're all playing together, you just want to poke them from range, waste their time, like get their attention. You don't want to have a team fight outside of your Zen's LOS if your Zen is not backing off. If your Zen's still holding his start position, you want to be able to see and get support from your backline. If both teams dive, then it's going to be different. But if your Zen is still in the same position, then your actual team fight will happen in his LOS. Okay. But now they bullied their way up to the point, and they just play together and force your ball out because you overcommitted. Now it's just cleanup, and you're just trying to stall it out. Their attention. This is fine. You can keep stalling.
Would have been worth here dying on point for ball because like it's not gonna give them a lot of ult charge.
You could like it's maybe a little feeding, maybe, but I wouldn't see it as a big mistake because they have almost every ult, and it's just wasting a little more percentage. So it's fine. He could have. I think if he died there, then it would be a big mistake to not touch point.
Yeah.
But because it got out and you're not wasting time because of it, then it's not worth it. Then it's not a mistake. Okay, you engage early, but your Tis is not in position. Okay, the chance is a little late. Both-sided. Okay, when you see that rally getting popped out, as ball, forget it. If you're somewhere already died and your Tis is not positioned to help you out, forget the brick. That's the situation where you can go help your backline if needed. But if it's only that brick and they're not getting too much, like the brick is not engaging, you can leave it for now. You can poke it, but don't hard engage or waste resources on the rally brick. Unless you're sure you can fully commit on it and be able to force her out, or preferably kill her. Okay, good fight. Positioning wise, you're taking a little too aggressive position as backline, but if it's just to get staggers, it's fine now. Yeah, it's okay because it's last fight and you're trying to fight early. Their Sombra will be able to touch. Gets out, ball will be touching next. Okay, mine's early, I'm not too big of a fan of because you don't know what's going to happen. You rally. Yes, and sustain, you bomb aggressively, force them out. Position. The mines kill their Sombra. I think they start contesting with trans. You're losing people as well. Okay, then you trans to sustain, which is fine. Yeah. Now just clean up. Okay. Maybe in the middle of that fight you played a little too defensively, but more detailed, and it's a mistake.
Can we talk about how fucking much damage our Zen has? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Gravel,
Power
if
of
you
Zen.
watch this back, you have a big dick.
Okay. Let's see what you play on this map. Guessing you'll play the same.
We played the same.
Yeah, Sombra Tracer.
I think we stayed main too long. We should have rotated quicker. I think that was what I remember, at least for the first fight.
Okay. Let's talk positioning. What's your ideal position for, first of all, your backline? Where would you like to set up as backline?
Well, we can go to the high ground, for example, or
Yeah.
I would say back part of the high ground because you then can also backdrop main, maybe.
Yeah.
sure.
Something
or we
else.
can go to that health back there where you're hovering now. If we go,
Yeah. Something else, maybe.
I mean, we could play main, but I don't
dildo.
or dildo. I mean, dildo.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like here or
Here, yeah,
here.
yeah,
Right? Those are the options.
yeah.
Okay. Which one do you prefer?
Well, it depends
why?
on what we're going against. But if they're playing this, I prefer high ground.
Yeah.
And
And if you don't know what you're going.
I mean,
I prefer still top
Yeah.
left high ground, like big high ground, but in the back because I feel it's you
Safe
see
drop.
them usually early enough so you can, in the case they go brawl and decide to push jump pad, you can still rotate back to main and rotate over. While I think it's a much longer way if you set our right side near the mega near road. Like it's a longer way because you need to go all the way over to jump pad and jump up. So I feel like the ways from high ground are just to the different positions are just much
Yeah.
shorter. So I think it's a
Okay.
pretty good starting position.
So right now you prefer this one.
I think so.
What if you're like ball comp, both parts of your team don't really have to play it together, right? What if you say your backline kind of stays to play more around here first, and then you scout and see what they have?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then what would you do if against this position, this composition?
Well, like this, I think against this we just keep rotating and kind of running away from them.
Yeah, two.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna rotate from? Where are you gonna rotate to from here?
Or you go
Right
through
side.
the two health packs and then go up. They're going on to the left, so we would go to the right. As
Yeah.
in their left, so we go to our left as well. We just keep rotating away from them.
Yeah, you keep
following health
rotating
packs.
away. Because what is the biggest counter to 6-man when playing your competition? What's the biggest counter?
Spamming them out.
Yeah, it's their resources are limited, right? Moira, for example, is the best example. If you keep spamming, the Moira meter will run out, or the piss meter will run out
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
Like same with Monkey, kind of. Monkey's bubble, really long cooldown as well. Monkey will take a lot of damage. Then Moira will need to heal it up, or the Monkey jumps in half HP. They're playing both Tracer and Sombra, which kind of means you can go for duels as well. Right? And that whole time you're taking a duel, they're not engaging because then they engage without DPS. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. What position or what megas do you want to control first? What are your priorities when playing against 6-man? Which megas do you want to control? Place more like this so I can see them.
Okay, against 6-man. I would say you probably want to go for the right one first. Like that right from our perspective, so a street one, yeah.
Yeah, so this one. Yeah, it's a good choice, but for attacking, if both teams are attacking or you're on the attacking side, this one is gonna be a big one, because they will force out point from this side if you hold high ground. So if you control this mega, they're more limited to their resources, and they can't depend on this mega to heal up their monkey, for example, when they keep stalling, or their diva.
Yeah.
Right? So by controlling this mega, you basically basically force the Moira to use resources. If you want to control this side, it's for you to back off too. But ideally, you want to fight early before they get to your supports. So you want to hack this one first.
So, as their DPS are going from the other side, should we have just tried to fight earlier rather than to run away? Because their DPS were taking high ground first.
But did you know that yet?
I don't know if
I'm not sure if you knew.
I don't actually know.
I don't think so. But most likely did not spot their Sombra. So.
They didn't spot their Sombra,
there's no way that you know eventually.
Yeah, that's true.
The thing is, what you did, you backed off to here in this direction. Why did you not just go back here?
Yeah, good question.
You have that mini here, which is pretty nice as well. You force them into a room, which is not ideal, and
that's fair.
You limit your options that you can get flanked on.
Yeah. Fair.
You also force it's a little longer, like a longer route for them to take as well. They will play pretty quickly because that's what they're designed to. If they play slowly, their meter runs out.
Yeah.
So did I view early? You can give them point. But the big thing you want to do now is not die, first of all, not get staggered. Second of all, is waste their resources.
Yeah.
By spamming, farming MP, just getting their attention and forcing them out. Moving towards somewhere so they move according to it, and then you can bait them back, for example. Just play around them and then wait for an opportunity to go in rather than going in blindly or without an advantage. You see, you pushed up as support pretty aggressively already, because that's somewhere where they want to fight. You can hold that area for maybe some time, but eventually you will lose. Right? Because you wasted a lot of resources, you will be able to win that fight.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Their Moira decided to, in their backline, fade after me because she saw me translocate into their backline. So while their team engaged at the front, their Moira actually was chasing me together with their Sombra.
That's a big mistake from there, Moira.
Yeah.
Which lost them the fight. That's also partially you getting their attention, and that's forcing that mistake to happen or baiting that mistake to happen.
That
Right?
should have never happened. Like that was really just a mistake from their Moira because their Sombra had
Oh,
me pretty good under control as well.
yeah, but if the Moira didn't chase you, you will be there spamming. So then as well, the Sombra will focus onto you, which is also value because you're getting the Sombra's attention at that moment. If you're not doing that, the Sombra is just spamming your ball, farming EMP. You see how attention also is a resource, and it's actually quite valuable.
Yeah.
Get the EMP early, you on high ground, you lose your Sen. Still fighting their bomb engaging. They're also bombing. You have map control or point control, so you can keep fighting this. Okay. Even against this composition that they're playing, I don't like playing on high ground too much because it's a really easy rotation to get to high ground. I rather stay here, or even I rather stay on that side where the Sombra's standing. You can get some early poke here. I don't know why. Okay. You can get some early poke here, then move back immediately towards the mecha, and you can keep going back and going that same route like that. But on the high ground, you're kind of stuck because the drop, because it's a really easy rotation from here to the high ground, like you see. So I prefer playing around that mega like almost all the time.
Okay. Fair.
It's just the fact that you have to rotate early, and you will have to play pretty scared of them because you know they're gonna engage pretty quickly.
So what side would you wanna? Shall we also just set up on the other side then? For
if you're
attacking.
If you're attacking, you also want to keep in mind that they want to play quickly. So I don't think you want to play on this side of the map.
Yeah, makes sense.
You want to play more around this one because first of all, natural cover. There's more corners. If the corners are there, can get value onto you, to you, because the monkey will chase you down. The Moira gets forced out, for example, by a Sombra in their backline, just shooting them, and maybe fades away or just doesn't want to fully commit and grabs a health back, for example. That's also value, and that monkey then has less resources.
Yeah, makes sense.
Big EMP, you trans as well to sustain.
Yeah, but we didn't get the kills fast enough, so the Lucio got unhacked and beat it. That's quite sad. I feel like this is one of the hardest things. What I feel as Sombra biggest challenges is when their Lucio plays separate. Because like right now I hacked the Lucio before because I spotted him, I hacked him and then I EMP'd. But I feel like the time window is still too small.
Yeah.
Most of the times to win the fight.
Yeah. What can you do then? What do you think? Because Lucio is playing separately. Is he doing anything except for hiding for the EMP?
No, we can just
No,
go
not
aggressive on
really.
the rest of the team then.
Yeah.
Stare with one down.
It's like having a Widowmaker on the enemy team. If you know they have a Widowmaker on the enemy team, you will play your corners better because you respect the Widow, right? Kind of what the same between Sombra and Lucio. Because you have a Sombra and they have a Lucio, the Lucio will respect you by playing back. You can use that by having a second option as a team fight. Maybe Pulse Bomb, just forcing their monkey out pretty aggressively, because they only have one healer there. Okay, it's their biggest healer.
Yeah.
But just having one person there, you're fighting a 5v6, and the moment Lucio wants to go help, and at that moment, the only thing he can do is beat them back or beat. If they beat you, just CMP, they beat them back, you can keep going, because that space that they give you after that, if he's with them, you can just CMP. Right?
So basically take advantage of the stalemate, because
Yeah. Okay. Take advantage of the stalemate and the fact that they're having 5 people now, except for 6. You can also just go for a hack and then duel the Lucio. Also an option. You don't hack him to immediately EMP after. Just hack him because he's alone and an isolated target. And if their team comes to help, that's where you can just EMP and teleport out, for example. Right?
Yeah.
They bomb the high ground to force you off. You mine engage. But you rally's nice. Monkey's isolated, you can. And then use primal them. Okay. You committed a little. I think you rallied reactively to the EMP, which is not ideal because it's only the tracer who got hacked. Then after you pushed aggressively on the monkey, which he had primal, that was you kind of gave up your good position to kill that monkey, and the monkey just primal to save himself, and that's how he killed you. Okay. Brawl. Not my favorite style. But... Okay, so first of all, when playing Brawl, what are the main advantages that you have right now? You're playing Sim, Mei, or Mei is kind of slow. Okay.
I think here there was miscommunication with our main tank, because we usually just go main to point and try to wall them off like they did, or wall off when they go through inside. But we kind of just got split up there, unfortunately.
I feel like this depends a lot. Like the main two things here, I think, are wall and immo.
Yeah.
Whoever hits the better wall or the better immo wins the fight.
Basically.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are your mutual win conditions, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if you guys played goats.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, with goats you maybe remembered the moment the enemy used their Zarya bubble onto the Rhine, defensively, you just hard engaged with your Zarya bubble, right? It's the same kind of thing. If you with Imo, if you see they used Imo defensively early, that's where you can hard engage with your Imo even if you want.
Yeah.
May wall is just a neutral win condition to split up the team so you can get an easier time engaging or getting a pick. Nice ball. Okay, good Imo. Okay. So with Brawl, you want to try to stay together, but at the same time, your D.Va can take off angles. Because in this case, there's no backline to protect, and your Rhine was fine there because you're all still playing 5 together. You saw the D.Va was being a threat, so what you can do is just fly into the D.Va or get behind, fly into the Symmetra. Symmetra is a threat. Fly in behind the Symmetra or into the Symmetra to force her out. And now you just stagger, good Maywell, and be able to stagger Orion. That's fine. Positioning wise, I like to go main as well because you have more options from there and you have immediately point control. So you want to go for like Maywells early. If you go inside the room, you have Mini there, which is also quite nice, but you're really open or like really close off, and you have to go to like little choke points where it's an easy Maywell. Yeah. So if the enemy team plays it, if they up the tempo more, and you're going inside taking Mini, and they go main, the moment you walk out, they already have like space control, like control of the space, and they will be able to have the wall immediately when you go out.
Yeah, I also feel big advantages if you're like for the team not inside the small room is you don't have to use the Maywall like you can use it in the long way, so you have to like you either have to go to the other door or you have to break multiple ice blocks to break through.
Yeah. Window early, which is fine. Use some Metro to split them, some more to split them off. Finally used Remo early, but you died and your Remo was a little too late.
Yeah. I don't think we should have pushed out there.
Pushing out there is fine. It's fine, you just had to be more ready for it. I think if you pushed out with the fact that you had Imo, and when your Pap is on the same line as your Ryan, and he's ready to counter his aggressive play, like back up his aggressive play, then it's fine.
Yeah.
That's like controlling the tempo more and really like upping the tempo. So you're not playing slow again anymore. You're really going for aggressive plays with like more defensive abilities. Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be sad.
Here as well, you want to look for. Okay, you're looking for an aggressive blizzard. Very nice. They bomb, get a window. They beat. Okay. I don't know what really happened. I think you went.
Ryan got walled off and died. I think early. Right when we threw our blizzard.
even
In the
then.
head.
Yeah.
First out by the bomb and beat him, and then
Yeah. We had not enough damage
damage
because I was the
follow-up.
only one behind their wall
yeah,
to shoot the Rhine.
Yeah, it's the bomb that really
yeah,
lost you the
force us
fight.
away.
Yeah.
It's not that your run died per se. It's not ideal, of course, but it's more the bomb that lost you that
Yeah.
fight, because the bomb was really countering that mailed of yours pretty well.
Yeah.
And it forced you to play completely separately, so you had
Yeah.
no backup on your May Blizzard. Here as well, you're playing split. Right. I think your window is a little too early because you don't really have the line of sight you want to. Right? If you had the same timing on the window when in the choke point, or more towards the choke point, you will be able to get more value out of it, more aggressive value or attacking value. Right now, you're not really. You have a plan, but you're not really executing your plan pretty well. You're not getting the value out of your ultimates that you want to, because they're playing earlier a lot of the time, so you're not fully on the same page.
Also, my positioning was dog shit in that fight.
Yeah, you played completely separately, and you died early because you did.
Yeah, I was on the right side behind them almost. That was really weird. And I don't remember how I got there.
And now you don't really have an engagement tool or something to counter their engagement except for lamp. So they just decided to go all in because they still have those abilities. Big bomb. And they're able to touch. Are you gonna win that fight?
Nah, I don't think so.
No, I don't think we did.
I think we kill Ryan, but we do.
You think you win that fight? At least until their respawns come back here.
Yeah.
They just keep trickling in it, and maybe eventually they win. The Blizzard.
Good zoning.
Blizzard
they have
no
to
win.
win. And our Ryan does not play with him.
Yeah. The adult advantage you used a lot before.
Yeah.
That's what I hate about these replayed codes. You never get to see the ending.
Yeah, no, we lost, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you missed too much.
No. Alright.
Questions?
Not really, to be honest. It was straightforward.
Do you have maybe? You said you don't like the comp there. What would you?
No.
Or?
It's just brawl is not my favorite style.
Yeah, fair enough.
But you could play that fantasy comp football here. You just play it more patiently, and you really play around your engagement tools, like your nano and your barrage.
Kind of how you do it on Li Jiang on the control center as well.
Could you do it on control center?
I think
or what's your question?
No, as in we used to do that ball comp with Farah on control center as well.
Yeah.
Is it just kind of the same idea, or?
Yeah, but the fact that control center is even more closed down, so it's even harder for your Farah to engage.
Yeah.
So maybe that's too much wishful thinking to play it there. It could work, but I think brawl comp just shines better, or will shine more on control center. But you can play, but on University there on Oasis, because you have the outside on the high ground there. It's a really nice spot for the Farah to spam from. As well, the rooftops are pretty high on the point or where you want to hold. So then it's doable. I'm not saying you have to, but if you wanted to, you could.
I'll discuss with the team because I do like the ball comp.
You could play brawl there, like brawl is as well good there. It's just I prefer to play ball comp on almost every map nowadays.
I mean,
so
Fair enough.
I don't mind playing Pharah,
Yeah.
even though I'm a hit scan main.
Wait, but yeah,
Pharah, I don't
Raptor.
know.
Wait. Well, I'm looking for flex DPS now, so you won't
Yeah.
be playing Pharah.
Yeah, but
You'd be
that's
back on
fine.
Tracer. That's fine with you. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, like
Just so you know, because
the
now you're
thing
saying
is,
I like Pharah. Like, oh yeah.
yeah, I really like playing Pharah,
Yeah.
and I also really like playing Mei, but it's just for me like I don't know how to say this, but these heroes for my brain are just more accessible, and I can handle them way better than I can with Echo.
Mm.
And I've practiced Echo. Of even spent days spamming her in comp, and I had a with Tommy. I had a just a personal VOD review that was
Yeah.
just about Echo,
Mm.
and I just
Yeah.
she's just not my type of character. You know, there's just
Mm.
some characters that don't really fit you sometimes, and Echo is one of those. Like I can play her on some days, but the biggest problem is still she's so inconsistent.
Mm.
Like I
Fair enough.
think I played her on how's it called on Numbani again, and then there was like fights where I absolutely did dog shit, and then I fucking two shot an Ash with my primary fire, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I can play her, but then
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, because then
and
you would
I
go back on Tracer, right? But you that's okay as well. Right?
yeah, I prefer practicing Tracer.
Sure.
I can just I gonna install Kovacs again and become a
Sure.
Kovacs Andy.
Easy. Okay,
Yeah.
good. No, good. Because I was worried that maybe I should be looking for a flex, but yeah.
No, don't worry, I'm not gonna change my mind.